Alright, welcome back, guys. Today I want to talk about 5 guns that I've bought that I will never ever buy again. And hopefully this helps you guys. It's probably going to piss a few of you guys off that have one of these guns and you're like, it's the best gun I ever had. I do understand that. I've got guns that a lot of people don't like, but they run good for me. So I'm just giving you my experience and why I will never buy these guns again. I don't want to spend my hard-earned money again on something that I have to go through another headache like I did with these 5 guns. So let's just get right to it. Number 5 on the list is the Beretta Cheetah ADX. I had super high hopes for that. We've got the other Beretta 80 series. I have I believe this is the 81. It's 32 ACP. I love this gun. It shoots so smooth, and I wanted a 380 version of it. When it came out, I was like, dude, that's going to be awesome. My wife was all pumped about it, so we went out and bought one. It ran decent. I had issues with the trigger resetting. I had to take it apart and clean it up. It had a lot of oil and grime in it from the factory. But after I did that, it ran good. But if I ran more than 2 or 3 mags through it, I had a blister on the back of my hand right here. And it's because the beaver tail on that comes down so sharp, it just digs into the webbing of your hand. So every time I shot that thing, it was just ripping my hand up. And I expected more out of Beretta. I mean, this one here is perfect. I can shoot this all freaking day. No issues. My wife loves this gun. There's no recoil, and I figured the ADX would be at least on par with this. It's not. And I wouldn't spend my money on that again, because if I bought that gun and wanted to shoot it comfortably, I would have to do a lot of work to that beaver tail to make it where it would not tear up my hand. And I know I'm not the only one with that issue, because I've seen other people review that gun and talk about the same issue. And I only wear a large glove. I don't have big hands. And if it's tearing my hand up, it's going to tear up most people's hands. My wife didn't like shooting it either. She wears like a woman's size small glove, and it was tearing her hands up. So I don't know what they were thinking with that sharp of a beaver tail on that. But let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is the Walther PK 380. This was the first gun my wife bought to carry. She wanted a carry gun that wasn't too big, that wasn't going to be too snappy. She was somewhat new to guns. The guy at the gun shop talked us into the PK 380. We had to send this gun back 3 times because the first mag would run good every single time we sent it back. We get it back, run the first mag perfect. And the subsequent mags after that, we could not get through a full mag without it jamming. We tried different ammo. We was getting stovepipes. We was getting failure to feeds, failure to ejects. It was just awful. So after the 3rd time we got it back, went to a gun show and unloaded it, which I've done with quite a few of these. I think that's the only gun that we got rid of that wasn't right when I got rid of it, because everything else was pretty much right. When I got rid of it, I was just fed up. It's like you can only work on something and send it back so many times before you're like, you know what? I'm done with this. I do not want to have anything else to do with this gun or this company. I've already wasted enough time and money on it. I'm done. But the PK 380, I know it's made by MDRX, which is a BB gun company, and I think that was their first foray into a center-fired gun, and it might be better now, but we're burnt. Like, I'm not going to buy another one. And I wanted to buy like a PDP or a PDP Pro, but every time I see Walther, I'm just like, oh, I've already been burnt once. Do I want to do that again? Just for the fact that I don't want to spend any more money on a headache. Now, number 3 on my list is the American Tactical Imports Mil Sport AR. When I bought my first AR, the guy at the gun shop was like, oh yeah, man, told me the whole, 5 forges and all this whatnot, and oh yeah, that's a great gun, man, it's awesome. And I believed him. I was new. Less than 1,000 rounds into it, this gun starts keyholing, and the recoil on this was stupid. Like, it was just like, it was just had an insane amount of recoil for a 5.56. I shot my buddy's Colt, and it was like, his Colt doesn't recoil like this, even though it's a Colt compared to an ATI. I've never shot another AR with that much recoil in my life. Well, around 1,000 rounds, because we shot the shit out of it, it ended up keyholing. And it was just like constant keyholes, one after another. Barrel was loose. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and tighten the barrel back up, put it all back together. I didn't know anything about guns. I Googled what could be the issue with a bunch of keyholes, and they were like, hey, it's probably a bad barrel that shot out, or it's a loose barrel. Tighten the barrel back up. It was still keyholing after that. It didn't matter if I ran 55 grain or 62 grain or 77 grain. It was keyholing damn near every single time, which is telling me that this barrel shot out at 1,000 rounds. That's not acceptable at all. Even though I know it's a budget entry-level AR, I will never spend another penny on American Tactical imports ever again. There were a few things on that gun that were decent. Like the handguard was pretty nice. It was key mod, and I ended up using that on something else. I pretty much took the gun apart and used parts out of it for other stuff. The barrel that was keyholing is destroyed now. I blew up an AR just to see what pistol powder would do on a rifle, and that was a video I did probably almost 3 years ago, and that's the barrel I used in that gun to blow it up. The upper and lower receiver seemed decent. I ended up using the upper receiver for another build that I did, and the lower I think I gave to my son-in-law, because it was in spec. The lower was. The upper was just, yeah, they just used cheap components in it, and they'll never get any more of my money. Now, number 2 on my list, if you've been following my channel for any time at all, you know that I had a huge issue with the Ruger SFAR. Not just 1, 2. I bought 2 of them. I was stupid enough to buy 2. The first one, it was just, no matter where you put the gas at, it was either not enough gas to cycle, or it was shooting brass right into my face. Every single time, it was just launching brass in my face, no matter where I set the gas system at. So, being that I'm a left-handed shooter, it shouldn't do that. And I was also having issues at first getting its chamber. It would not go fully into seat into battery. And I thought, well, maybe it's my reloads, which my reloads I check and double check and triple check to make sure that they go through a case gauge and they're fine. So I actually still have the ammo on the shelf over there. I have the Federal Premium. It's some kind of Sierra. I can barely see it from here, but I used a box of that, and I was having the same freaking issue with that. Even though after I would chamber around, I would try to take the round back out, and it was stuck in a bolt. I'd have to mortar it open every single time. I kept shooting it, and that gun actually had decent accuracy, but after I got it broken in, I was like, I still don't trust it 100%, just because in the back of my mind, it's like, so I got rid of it. After about a month or 2, I was like, I should have given that gun more time. So I'm like, I'm going to buy another one. So I went out, spent my money. I didn't get a discount. I went to a gun store and bought another SFAR. I get it home, take it apart, and there's metal shavings in the bolt. Like, the bolt had metal shavings around it in the bolt carrier. So it was really hard to to make the bolt cam over. Like, it would not go, and I'm like, dude, what the hell? So I took it apart, cleaned it, got the metal shavings out of it, and took it out to shoot it. And the accuracy on that was freaking awful. I've heard, when I made the second video on my second SFAR, they were like, oh yeah, you can't expect, great accuracy out of that. I expect better than 8 MOA. With any brand new rifle, if I'm shooting paper at 100 yards and I can't get it to pattern better than this, something wrong with it. So again, I take it home, take it apart, and I'm like, I'm gonna check to make sure the barrel nut is tight. Took the handguard off of it, took the gas block and the gas tube out, put it in my vise out in the garage, and I was able to loosen the barrel nut with my hand, which you shouldn't do that. I'm not a strong dude at all. So I'm like, well, geez, that's my problem right there. Tighten the barrel nut up to spec, put it all back together. The accuracy was better, but I was so frustrated by then. I was like, you know what? I am done with these Ruger ARs, because by then I'd already fixed another AR for a guy. He had a Ruger AR. It was an A2 front sight post, and I believe it was a brand new gun. Took it out shooting it, and after a mag or 2, it quit working. And he was like, what's going on? The pin for the front sight came out, both of them, and the front sight, the A2 front sight and the gas tube was all the way down by the flash hider. So take that for what you will. I've only shot 3 Ruger AR rifles, and all 3 of them are problematic, which I like other Ruger guns. We've got quite a few Ruger guns, but I won't buy any more of their AR platforms. I'm burnt. I'm scared of them. I'd like to try the RXM. I just haven't bought one yet, but like I say, their other stuff is good, but their ARs, I tend to stay away from. Now, for the biggest pile of garbage I've ever owned in my life. Really wanted one. I shoot left-handed, and I got a Tavor 7. It ejects on the left-hand side. You just flip the bolt over, open the ejection port, boom. Desert Tech MDRX does the same thing and has an adjustable gas system. And by then, I already have a can, and I'm like, ooh, I want to dedicate this for this can, leave it on there, never take it off. It's a 5.56 can, still got it. It's on a 10.5-inch build that I got now. So here I am, super excited, get home, take it apart, switch it over to left-hand eject, take it to the range. And I'm shooting it, pow, 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 pow. And it's like, this thing's binary. So it's like 1 out of every 3 to 4 shots were binary. I let off the trigger, boom, it'd go off again. I'm like, this ain't cool. So I contacted them. They gave me an RMA. Sent it back. A week later, I get the gun back. I'm like, all right, cool, let's take it out again. I'm super excited, pumped. Put my optic back on it, can back on it, take it out. Same issue. After about, I think, 3 to 4 mags, it was like 150 rounds, 120 rounds, something like that. Same fucking issue. Pow, 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 pow. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, not again. Contact them. First time they changed a part in the trigger assembly. Second time they put a whole new trigger assembly in it. And they're like, it's fixed. And I'm like, all right, I've already gotten it back twice. And when they send a gun back to your house, you got to sign for it. And I don't know how UPS or FedEx is where you live at, but they don't knock on your fucking door. They pretty much roll up in the driveway. If you're not standing out there, they leave. So the first time or two, I think I got it back on the 3rd day both times because they wouldn't knock on my door. Like, I was home. I'm like, I'm home. I'm here. So I had to wait out in my garage with the garage door open for FedEx to show up. And I get it back and I take it out and shoot it. And it's not binary, but I'm like, you know, I'm just not feeling it. I'm burnt. I've had enough hassle out of this. I don't want to deal with anything else again. I take it home. I'm like, I'm going to get rid of it. It's running good now. Let's get rid of it. So it was set up for left hand. I didn't want to try to sell a left-hand setup rifle because there's not very many left-handed shooters. So I want to switch the bolt back over to right-hand eject. The firing pin was stuck in the bolt. Like locked up. Would not come out. It moved back and forth, but it would not come out of the back of it. After pulling the pin out, it would not come out. And I tried everything I could to get it out. Contacted Desert Tech. Again, they're quick about, oh yeah, I sent it right back out. So I sent it out for the fucking 3rd time. Get it back like a week later, and they had changed out the whole entire bolt carrier with, this gun had less than 500 rounds to it. They put a bolt carrier and bolt in it that looked like it had 20,000 rounds in it. So this was a brand new gun, and they put in something that looked like it was just completely wore out. That is totally unacceptable for a brand new gun. I've already had to send it back 3 times. Then you're going to send it back to me again with extremely used parts. And by then, I was going to do a review on it, but I was so mad. It was going to be the most hateful, hate-filled review. I didn't really want to do that. So I just got rid of it and ended up getting another AK, I believe, just because why not? But I did verify the gun did run good. I took it out and I shot it right-handed. I put like a mag through it. It was fine. I didn't want to get rid of a gun that was, you know, problematic to somebody. But after sending it back 3 times, I was completely done with this gun. So yeah, that's my 5 that I will never touch again. I'm not saying you shouldn't, because everybody needs to experience it for themselves, but if this can help you at all, that's great. Always thought the Desert Tech was like a great platform. I was so pumped when I got it. I'm like, dude, I'm finally getting a Desert Tech. This is going to be awesome. No, it's the biggest disappointment I've ever had for a gun. But let me know in the comments, what gun will you never buy again? What was the most problematic weapon you ever bought? And let me know what happened to it, because I want to know. We need to get these, instead of doing like, want to hate filled a review on it, I figured I would just do 5 that I've had major issues with. And some of them were fit issues, like it just didn't fit my hand or my wife's hand, which should fit everybody's hand. It's a gun, for God's sakes. But I'll leave a link in the description to my website. I post some daily deals on there and weekly deals. Go ahead and check that out. And if you want to, like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. It helps channel out a lot. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, and let's take back our Second Amendment.